Good morning, it's Saturday and it's the GP opening round and it's the Northern Europe Origin Series event. I hope you're well, thank you for tuning in and we're about to get the weekend underway. 4 races coming to you, Singapore, France, USA and the United Kingdom. 4 decent races and 4 tracks that are in my track playlist, so do give it a watch because you may learn a hell of a strategy in each race. What are we running? Well, this is the car setup we've got, and this is the driver setup we've got. And George Russell will be coming in the rain when that is scheduled. So first 2 races, no George Russell. So let's get it underway. Hope you're doing well. I hope you'll have a good weekend. And let's kick it off with the first race here in Singapore. The first race is upon us of opening round. Singapore, 3.146 miles of very tough track. 23 turns. Most wins, Sebastian Vettel with 5. And you've got Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes all tied on 4 wins apiece. And did you know, official lap record at Singapore, who is it held by? Well, you'll be very surprised to know that Kevin Magnussen of the Haas holds the circuit lap record here in Singapore. There's one for your fact calendar as we get underway in GP. 3 and 5th position, and can we get a good start? Decent matchup here, and we want to launch off with Lewis Hamilton. So lights out and away we go. Lewis Hamilton reacts very slowly, but manages to get the afterburner on the go and speaks round the corner to Verstappen, tells him you're not having that move, and we are already up to P1. Max Verstappen making a move down the inside of Charles Leclerc, and now also Max Verstappen, and that is into P1 and P2. Max Verstappen making light work of his clone Max Verstappen here in Singapore. Let's talk through the strategies as we get underway. We've got Lewis Hamilton doing a 3 soft, 4 medium on the Herald, and we've got Verstappen doing a 4-3 on the softs with downforce. Now, Herald gives me some extra fuel, a little bit of overtaking, gives me great acceleration off the corners. Obviously, we've got slow corners here in Singapore. And for Verstappen, downforce gives me cornering, it gives me grip, and it also gives me the tyre management to push 4 laps on the soft and come back and push 3 laps again. So as Lewis Hamilton continues round, we're actually going to boost away now. And I'm going to do 3 laps and then basically chill on the mediums is what the doctor orders. And Max Verstappen, we're just going to keep holding. This gives Lewis Hamilton some clean track to be able to put these laps in. And he'll be able to build a nice gap ahead. Max Verstappen pulling away from Max Verstappen as well. And we are sitting P1 and P2. So yeah, make sure you check out my playlist for track guides because a lot of these tracks are covered in track guides. And also do drop in my Discord. The link is in the description below. So Lewis Hamilton will be coming round to pit this lap. We'll go on to the mediums and we will start to conserve. He's pulled up a good gap, 7.4 seconds. And we're about to also start boosting Max Verstappen. We give Max Verstappen about 1.5 laps of boost, probably 1.25. Downforce doesn't give us much tyre management. As Lewis Hamilton comes back out in the pits and rejoins in first place. What about Max Verstappen? He crosses the line and will be coming in for some soft tyres. And almost like Max Verstappen will probably jump ahead of Lewis Hamilton here, based on the speed difference. We're going to move Hamilton up to medium boost. It's all about getting the 47 for me today. And that is our order for requirements. We have to be scoring 47 points to stand a chance in GP. Very tough groups now. Best players scoring top points. But it also does depend on matchups and safety cars that you could get. So Hamilton crosses the line, rejoins in P1. We'll start to boost Hamilton. We don't necessarily need to, but we'll create a gap just in case any safety car does come out. And that gap is a tidy one back to P3. 11 seconds is the gap as we come through. And this is a very good start. Nice matchup, always helps. But we are moving smoothly through the first race. And if any safety car comes out now, we will be able to get to the end of the race with both drivers. That's why we're going to just cut down Lewis. We won't have a safety car now. And he is coming round the back markers. Max Verstappen carries on. And we're just going to smooth sail through here in Singapore. There's my little tickly cough. The long COVID effect is still troubling me day to day. Do let me know how you get on in GP. Seeing so many improvements lately. Need to let me know how you're getting on. Is there anything I can help you with? Because that's what I created the channel for. The channel was created to help you become better players. Max Verstappen starts the last lap and he's lapping both of the rivals here who are in 13th and 14th. Verstappen just coming out of the pits there, and Lewis on 1 lap old medium tyres. And we've got last lap, we can start to push Lewis as well. But it has been a quite easy race here in Singapore, and we are looking at a beautiful 47 points as the dogs start to absolutely go mad at the postman who is on his way around here in Singapore. And obviously the postman's not in Singapore, but let's pretend the dogs and the postman are in Singapore. It's race number 1 is complete. Max Verstappen finishes in first place with 24 points. Swiftly followed by Lewis Hamilton in P2, scoring 23. And we start our opening round with a very solid 47 points in the bag. Welcome to the circuit of Paul Ricard. 15 turns, 3.6 miles. And interestingly, Williams and McLaren have the most wins here in circuit Paul Ricard. Mansell, Prost, Lewis and Max are the only winners of this track more than once. And we have a Max account, and I think it's a human player. So we're about to basically potentially crumble here in France. I believe it is a real player. We're about to find out. Will they ready up on 19? They won't. So it's a real player. And we've got a lot to do already to try and overcome. It doesn't look like we may get a full 47 here, which is a shame, but we're going to give it a go. So here we go. Lights out. We will go. Can Max Verstappen get a good start? And what about Lewis Hamilton? They get blocked out, but Lewis Hamilton getting up into P2. Rival back in P4. And we are now closing down on the rival. Although rival is still there in P4. So we're going to cut Verstappen down. And we get past Verstappen. And somehow, his Max Verstappen was very slow through there. And we're going to make sure we cancel our pit. Because that's what we don't want. And we're going to cut down. So we've got Max Verstappen up to P3. We've got Lewis Hamilton continuing in P2. And we're going to keep him pushed to the wire. We don't necessarily have the fuel for this strategy, but we may come good with Max Verstappen in the end. Let's see what happens. Can we break this guy's 47 points, which also means we break our 47 points, which is not the best in the world. So in the pits we'll come, and Max Verstappen will continue round as well. So not a bad first stint here on the softs, and we are in. And the rival's starting to push now, but I'm not going to commit too much yet. See if we can truck one up the inside. We nearly can. And we're back out into P2. So with the extra fuel on board, Max Verstappen taking a very odd line there. We're going to start to push. We might have to push Lewis Hamilton away a little bit just to make sure team orders don't absolutely do us. That's the key. So let's push Lewis out the way. And there's not a lot you can do when you get a Max matchup, folks. Just one of them races. So Max Verstappen will be coming into the pits this lap. He's ahead of the rival. And into the pits he comes. Hamilton continues to save tyres here. Now Max Verstappen out in P3. Can he keep it? He can. So a good solid move out in P3. And now Lewis Hamilton, we're going to start to push. And I'm going to change up potentially here. Can we get a move on the Gladiator of the rival? He defends well, but we can't get past. And this is going to be a very, very tough. Can we go up the inside? Lewis Hamilton up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. Can we get it? It's a race down to the straight. Who's going to... Lewis Hamilton holds out. We can't get past. So we're going to come back for some medium tyres. We've got Max Verstappen absolutely flying as well behind us. So we're going to basically bring him through. And hopefully he can create a little bit of gap for both of these to start pushing on the mediums. Max Verstappen goes through. And we're not going to create a massive gap. We are going to lose a little bit on time, but it's not too bad. What's the rival doing? The rival will pit behind us potentially. We're going to get double stacked a little bit. That's not what you want, guys, in a big race like this. Rival goes on in P1. So he might only drop 1 point here if Lewis Hamilton can find the gas on that firework. Can we get, though, that rival is going 3 laps on the soft. And that's a move by Max Verstappen on Gladiator. If this is a big move up the inside, can he get it done? This is huge for our race today. We're past the rival. Holds us up with that soft tyre, though. And they are squabbling themselves. But can we make a move? We are into P2 and 3. There's a chance that we can try and catch the rival here. This is a great race against the rival. He's got blocking boost on, so it's very hard for me to get past Gladiator. But can Deadfast do it? Down the inside, can we go? Rival takes a short route through the corner. Can we go up the inside? Verstappen, we're all over the back of this Gladiator. And he's holding. He doesn't want to push too much. Can we go up the inside? He's pushed wide. We can't get through. And we're very low on fuel with the rival catching as well. And here's a move by Max Verstappen. Oh, can't get down the inside. And that might see us through now till the end of this race. We're not going to be able to keep either this P4 position, I don't think. So this could all change. And there's Max Verstappen down the inside, up into P1. We keep in P3 as well. Big move by Max Verstappen. And we're about to run out of fuel, I think. I think we're about to run out of fuel, guys. I think we're about to run out of fuel. We cross the line out of fuel, but we get P3. Wow, what a race. What a race here in France. Race number 3, and it looks to be another max account human player. We are getting very unlucky, but we're at Austin. And can we overcome another mad account? We've gone with George Russell in here. Rivals gone Norris and Hamilton. We've got rain. We have got rain here. So we're going to go Hex. And we're going to look at going Sar as well. Question is, got to find it. There it is. So let's see what happens. We've got to put the rival under pressure. We've got to get a good start as well. And hopefully it doesn't ruin us too much again. We are P4, P5 as the lights go out. And can Lewis Hamilton take a trip up the inside? He tries for the middle. What about George Russell? He tries for the middle as well. And we are quickly into P2 and P3. Rival back in P5. And hopefully we can create a little bit of gap here and hold on through. As we come down the home big straight where a lot of the fans watching out when the rival is on tuning. So the rival's got a quick pit stop. Very, very good boost in the wet, I must say. So the rival looking good there. Our other rival on the cranberry boost doesn't look like he's making much ground, but he's in P5. Never say never. They may trouble us later on in this race. As we start lap 2, we've got it all to do. The rival's starting to push now. And what can we do here? We can do 3 to 5 on Lewis and we can do 3 to 5 on Russell as well. And the rival down to P6, so the rival's not finding it very good at the moment, which is very interesting indeed. So, what can we do a little bit different here? We can probably do 4 laps on the SAR with full pushing. We might just try and bring it to the rival a little bit. So let's try and close this gap first of all. And the rival definitely struggling with Lewis in P6. And we're just going to try and close on that tuning, because the rival's definitely pushed quite a bit so far. And Hamilton comes in to this middle section in P2. And we're gonna try something. We've got to try something because we're going to be stuck in P2. We're going to bring Hamilton in for an early pit stop. And we're going to basically do a 3-3-2 here. We've got Hamilton out. I'm hoping the rival can't push too hard. And we can maybe catch up the rival a little bit. What's the gap out front? The rival's going to absolutely blitz us with the tuning pit though. That's fair. But we've got to try something different here. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck on 45 points. And what's the gap out front? 8 seconds. But he'll be well out, probably 4 seconds ahead. But we had to give it a try. Because worst case scenario, I think Hamilton finishes P2 here. And the rival back out in P1, like we said. But let's try and force him. Let's try and put him under a bit of pressure, shall we? And Hamilton, coming round, now has the rival in his sights, who's going through the corner. And we're going to bring George Russell in on a SAR now as well. And Hamilton, flying down, has the rival in front of him. Rival goes wide, but Lewis Hamilton can't make a move up the inside. And we've definitely got the rival pushing now, which is what we wanted. We wanted to push him a bit harder. And George Russell will come into the pits. So George Russell in. We've got Hamilton coming in this lap as well. And he gets held up by the back markers through a tricky section. He's lost a lot of time there. So let's bring Lewis in. And what's the gap? The gap closing all the time. And that is into P1. Now, the interesting thing here, guys, is the rival has less than 50% tyres. I haven't got the fuel. But we're trying, and the rival's in, so the rival's just matching us, and he should come out ahead of us with the tuning, to be honest. Yep, there you go. So the rival just matching us in Austin. That's probably a good move by the rival, give him that. So it looks like it will be 45 points here in Austin. And this is all we could probably manage. I mean, what a start. Like 2 max accounts in 3 races, and both human players as well. It's not as if it's even been bots. We can overcome a bot, but a human player, very hard to overcome. But it is going to be 45 points. We've ruined another player who probably should be scoring maximum points in weekends with max accounts. So we're going to ruin his party. And that's all for the fun and games. George Russell starts lap number 8. And Hamilton out of fuel now. Right behind the rival, sadly, as well. But we've just been unlucky today. It's not going to be a P1 this weekend. We've lost too much points already, probably, for that. But you never know. We keep the faith as Russell coming and catching up. So good. I'm happy with that race. We've secured P2 and P3 with a very difficult rival on a max account. So P2, P3. 45 points. Race 4, Silverstone. 3.66 miles. 70% of the lap is taken at full throttle. And there is around 40 gear changes that the drivers will do per lap across these, basically, 7 laps. And we've got Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, because we've wanted potential rain here, but it hasn't came. So it is a case of going on the soft tyres, and it will be the same for George Russell as well. We've got to make an explosive start on the firework. So here we go. if you haven't already, if you're starting towards the back of the grid, check out my playlist for this track in the dry, because it is an insane strategy. And let's see what we can do in the final opening round race that you'll see. And it is a human player. So we have a human player as well in race number 4. And that is an incredible start to this week's GP. 3 human players out of the first 4 races. So Lewis Hamilton sets out in the lead. George Russell sitting in P3 behind Max Verstappen, who is on the medium. So George Russell on that firework is want to get past Max Verstappen as quick as possible, and he's all over the back of him coming down into the last corner. But what about into the last section of the track? And he still can't get past. So we're going to cut down. Rivals on mediums, so that is going to be a bit of a pain for us because they're only going to pit once. George Russell still can't find a move past Max Verstappen, and this is clinical and critical. And he goes up the inside. He's absolutely blocked out the way there. No way did he not get through there. And we have to keep pushing, which is not great for our strategy either. Can we now go up the inside? No. What about a move now? Round the outside maybe? Through the inside? There we go. We're through, but we can't push, which is pointless, which is annoying. So, out we come. We're going to do some servicing. We're going to push Hamilton away. And the danger here is the rival in P5. And what's the gap? We've got 2 seconds, the gap at the minute. So it's going to be a tricky one to do here. We're going to have to build some time on these softs and hope for some clear track as George Russell comes around the final bend before the chicane part, let's call it, and within the pits. He's run out of tyres. Verstappen pits as well. This isn't going to go too well. We need to get ahead of Verstappen out the pits. We are. Now, if we stay for P3, is perfect. So we can try now and push. That rival in P2 is our danger. On the frost, big danger ahead. And can we close the gap? It's 5 seconds and it's closing all the time. 4.6, 4.3, 4.2. It's always closing. And the rival may go for some softs, so we're probably up against it here. And then weirdly, I use this strategy in my own videos. So it's going to come back and cost us here. But let's see, we've got firework. It's a lot better boost than dead fat on the frost, sorry. So we might still be able to get some pain here. 4 seconds is the gap. 4 seconds. And obviously we don't take the last corner. We go straight into the pits. So it's going to be close, this is. Going to be very close. Russell now in. Rival coming around the last section now. Last corner. Can we get out in front of the rival? This is a big move. And we're through. We are ahead of the rival. The rival not pushing. I don't understand why. They must have pushed too much on the mediums. And we're back out in P1 and P2. So another great race here on opening round. 3 absolutely fantastic races, I have to say. All pushed to the wire. As Lewis Hamilton starts his last lap. And George Russell himself, currently P2, starting his last lap. And we've got a good gap over the rivals as well. The other rivals sitting in P9 and P3. So we're going to finish off with what looks to be a 47-point run. But sadly, the other races weren't 47-point material. And that's what may cost us podiums, P1s, P2s this weekend. But you never know what group you're going to get. So if George Russell uses all his fuel, comes across the line, we return to form and secure 47 points in Silverstone as the rival comes in P3. And to be fair, the rival's using that medium, soft, medium strategy that I told you about in my strategy guide. And look where he started. He started sort of P10, P13 or whatever it was. And he's all got up to P3 and P7. Big track to know the strategy for. But we survived P1 and P2. So let's go back to the lobby. Let's show you how we ended up. It was a better matchup but a human player pushing us all the way. And here we are. 4 races done. 185 points. We've dropped 3 points. Sadly, race number 2 and 3. Max accounts, human players. We did the best we could. So let's see what tomorrow holds. Final round will be coming from Hungary, Imola, Abu Dhabi and Bahrain. So hopefully you can jump along and carry on watching me there. If you haven't subscribed, do make sure you do so. And I'll always see you in the next one.